Welcome to Adsubia, Spain, a charming Spanish village in the Alicante province of the Valencian community. This little village is just a 5-minute drive from my town of Pego, so we're going to dive in and see what makes this little town special. Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money Spain, where we explore all that Spain has to offer. In today's video, I'm going to show you a lot of footage of the town of Adsubia, and we're going to talk about the history and culture, the population and lifestyle, the amenities and practical life, the cost of living, and things to do in the area. I want to start by addressing the name and the various spellings so that if you end up trying to look it up, you can find what you're looking for. All of the town signage that I've seen has the spelling as I've spelled it on this video, like this. From what I understand, this is the spelling in Valencian, which is the language of this region of Spain. It is also the spelling in Google Maps. Phonetically, the pronunciation of the town in English will look more like the Spanish version of the name, which is Adsubia. When I've looked for home listings on Idealista, for example, they use the Spanish spelling of the name. I first visited Adsubia a little over a year ago for a fundraiser, and wow, did we have an amazing time. A few of my friends from the US got to go with me that evening, and one of them commented that it was her favorite experience in Spain. What an introduction to this precious town. Now, let's talk for a minute about the location and the size. Adsubia, like Pego, is situated right between the cities of Valencia and Alicante, about an hour from each. It's just a little bit more inland than Pego, and about a 20-minute drive from the beach. If you didn't want a car but had a bicycle, you can cycle to Pego in 15 minutes and to the beach in just under 40. Now, Adsubia is small. With a population of just over 600 people, some might consider it to be tiny. So it's surprising how much life this town has with such a little footprint. I'm going to be going over several small towns in the area over the coming weeks and months, and of all of them, this one to me seems the most convenient because of its proximity to Pego. These smaller towns don't usually have the big grocery stores. They'll generally have a small pharmacy or little market where you can get basics, but you have to drive to bigger towns or take a bus to do larger amounts of grocery shopping. So in the case of Adsubia, you have the quiet charm of a tiny town, but the convenience of a larger town is just a stone's throw away. For comparison, Pego has a population of 10,000, so it's over 16 times larger than Adsubia. I do think there is a strong representation of expats in Adsubia. I know a family or two who live there, and if I remember correctly, I believe someone told me that there are a lot of French expats specifically who either live there or have summer homes in that area. Although there is a strong expat presence, it's a small town, so it's not like it's a tourist hotspot. Okay, let's talk for a moment about the history. Adsubia's history is deeply intertwined with the Moorish influence that shaped a lot of Spain. The village's very name hints at its Arabic origins, a legacy that can still be felt in the layout of its streets and some of its architecture. For centuries, Adsubia has been an agricultural community, with the cultivation of crops like citrus playing a central role in its economy and way of life. This rich agricultural heritage has helped to preserve the village's traditional character, offering a glimpse into a slower, more authentic way of life in the Valencian community. The area surrounding Adsubia is also steeped in history, with ancient fortifications and natural wonders in the landscape. Nearby, you'll find the Castillo de Forna, a historic castle that testifies to the region's medieval past and strategic importance. The castle, with its solid structure, has been part of the local history and power dynamics for centuries. Additionally, the Cova de Canelobre cave system offers a glimpse into the area's geological history. Cova de Canelobre, with its large chambers and impressive stalactites and stalagmites, is a natural wonder that you should definitely plan to visit if you're in the area. Okay, now let's talk about amenities and practical life if you were to live in Adsubia. Like I mentioned before, you're not going to have the major grocery stores, but there is a small grocery store that just so happens to have my name, so it's super easy to remember. Comestibles Nicole is the local grocery store that is going to have all of your basics covered, from a small assortment of fresh produce to canned goods to drinks, including beer and wine, as well as household products like toilet paper and cleaners. I think you could get most of what you need from this place on foot, and then if you needed to do a larger grocery haul, you could head to Pego every once in a while to shop at Mercadona or Aldi. One of the differences about grocery shopping in a lot of places in Europe versus common grocery shopping practices in the US is that it's really common here to walk to the grocery store and pick out fresh food for just 2 or 3 days rather than going and doing these massive grocery hauls. It's just part of the way of life, and I think it's great. It also means that having smaller refrigerators makes sense because you aren't filling them to last more than a week. In Adsubia, there is also a fresh bakery where you can buy bread, pies, cakes, and more. There are several restaurants and bars, and even a honey shop that sells local honey. Really, it's an adorable little town with plenty to offer for daily life. So when I was in the town filming with my drone, I thought I saw this tennis court, and I was like, no way. Then when I walked over in that direction later in the day, I was so excited to see that they have a paddleball court. I talked about it in one of my recent videos in and around Pego, but I have fallen in love with the sport of paddleball. At this stage in my life, it has become my favorite sport to play, unless you consider snowboarding a sport. But this little place is so cool. They have this paddleball court that you can reserve. It does look like it requires using the app, and you might need a Spanish phone for that, but if you lived in the area, you'd probably have that. There was also a basketball court that didn't seem to need a reservation as far as I could tell, as well as some other sport court that I'm not familiar with. But if you know what this other court is, definitely let me know in the comments. In front of these courts was a little sitting area with an outdoor ping pong table. Lots of awesome opportunities for outdoor fun. I didn't get a chance to film it because of the time of year, but there is also a community pool, and I believe it's just €1 to get in. So during hotter parts of the year, that would be a great place to go to. If you want to know more about some of my favorite places to visit while living in this area for day trips, check out the video in and around Pego that I just mentioned previously. I'll put a link to that in the description. Okay, so let's chat about the cost of living in this area, and then we'll take a look at home prices. Small towns like this will be difficult to find info on as it pertains to cost of living, but I generally like to look at the nearest big city and then work my way out. So in this case, the city of Valencia is going to be a good option. Then the mid-sized city from there is Gandia, which will be a little bit less expensive than the big city. And then usually the small towns will be a little bit less than that. This concept works with small towns that are inland like this one, but would not necessarily be accurate if you were looking at a coastal town that has a lot of tourism, so that's going to be more expensive. So when I've done research on the cost of living in Valencia in 2025, for the cost without rent, I'm seeing prices that range from €670 per month to €1,100 per month for a single person. I think Adsubia is probably going to be really similar to what I spend in Pego. When I'm here by myself, I spend about €200 to €300 per month in groceries, another $100 per month going out to eat or out for coffee, between €100 and €150 per month on utilities, and maybe another $100 for gas in the car. So with the higher end of what I just mentioned, that is €650 per month. Now, of course, that doesn't account for home or car maintenance, medical needs or insurance, or other random spending, but that should give you a good idea. I think that you could comfortably live in this area on €1,000 per month without rent as a single person. And of course, if you have 2 or more people, the cost per person goes down because you are sharing the cost of utilities and more. So then we need to take a look at what housing costs look like. We'll check out rent prices first. I always take a look at the website Idealista just to get an idea, but there is no central system for real estate in Spain. So once you decide on a city or town, it's a good idea to check out lots of different sites and even walk around to see what is available. The funny thing about looking up rental prices in this town is that there's only one listed on this site. And I gotta say, when I think about what you have to pay in Florida to rent a place like this, it's hard to believe you can get a really great condo to rent that is 3 bedroom, almost 1,100 square feet, has a terrace with stunning views, a beautiful rooftop community pool, and even an underground parking space for just 850 euros per month. Then again, there's only one, so if you want to rent in that area before buying, there may not be a ton of options. Of course, you should check with local real estate agents and maybe even look to see if there's a local Facebook group where you may be able to learn about other rental options. Okay, fortunately, when we go to look at homes for sale, we have more than one listing. Now, this says there are 41 homes, but you'll see as we go through some of these that many homes are listed more than once. I go into detail about why this happens in a video titled Navigating Real Estate in Spain, which I will also leave a link for in the description. But I'm going to guess we have more like 30 to 35 homes to choose from if you remove the duplicate homes. On the first page, you'll see we have the algorithm spit out homes in various price ranges, including some of the more expensive listing, kicking us off with a 4-bedroom, 790,000 euro luxury villa. Of course, 790,000 euros is a lot of money, but again, when you compare it to homes in the US, you get a lot more for your money here. Places like this are beautiful, although I don't often look at the luxury listings because it's so far out of my price range that it probably won't ever be for me. But if it's for you, that's awesome. From this particular villa, you can actually view the sea. From there, we have another 4-bedroom villa that is more traditional looking for 395,000 euro. Then you can see the first example of a duplicate listing I mentioned earlier. From there, we have a 3-bedroom village home for 280,000 euro. We then see another 4-bedroom villa for 440,000 euro and a 3-bedroom chalet for 300,000 euro. Then we have a 3-bedroom condo that's just 150,000 euro that looks like a similar building or maybe the same building as the one we saw listed as a rental. But let's go back up to the top and filter to view the listings beginning at the lowest price just to see if there are any cheap options available. Right off the bat, you can see we have 2 listings at the 41,000 euro mark. The first one is a 3-bedroom home that needs a total reform. It's only 80 square meters, so it looks pretty small for 3 bedrooms, but it's a real blank canvas for anyone who wants a renovation project. The second one says it's a house, but it's really just some beautiful land with the partial shell of an old tiny building. Then we have a 3-bedroom home for 67,000 euro that looks like it is partially livable and has some other areas of the home that need a full renovation. I'm not 100%, but that could be the kind of property that you could move into and work on it while you live there. From there, for 80,000, you have almost 10 acres of beautiful land, including part of a mountain with a small 1-bedroom, tiny little house that could use a renovation. Honestly, I think that kind of land could be really special. I could see myself buying something like that. But that's also a lot of land to take care of. Okay, from there, we move on to another renovation project, this 3-bedroom home that's right in the heart of the town. It looks like it would be a lot of work, but maybe worth it for the right person. From there, we're going to start to see lower priced condos in the 100 to 150,000 euro range. As you can see, your most affordable homes will be either renovations, which aren't necessarily affordable, depending on how much you're going to spend on the work. And then you have condo or apartment style homes that will be the most affordable. I have a condo in Florida, and honestly, I love it. I love that I don't have all of the exterior maintenance of a home and that I just have to worry about what's on the inside. The one thing I don't know much about as it pertains to Spain are community fees for condo-style buildings. In the States, we call them homeowners association fees, and they can get really out of hand, especially in Florida. But I would imagine anything in Spain is going to be a lot more reasonable. If you live in Spain and are familiar with what the average community fees are for a condo type of building and what they include, let us know in the comments. Now, a town like this one might actually not be less expensive for housing than a town like Pego, just because of its limited size, limiting the amount of listings that are for sale. Of course, I'm not as sure what the demand is in Adsubia, but you just may not have as many deals available due to lack of listings. However, it's hard to argue that these aren't at least fairly reasonable prices. What do you think of the prices? And is this town too small for you or just right? For me, it's maybe a little on the small side, but the fact that Pego is so close makes it a tempting option for some real peace and quiet with stunning views and the convenience of everything else just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I simply love this area of Spain. The mountains and the sea right at your fingertips. Do me a favor, like this video and join me every day for adventure in Spain.